Welcome one more day to Space and Harmony. Today we are going to dive deep into something that can bring us out of the sense of space-time, when we are really able to feel it, of course. And this has to do with the key of conscience, which I already mentioned in the previous episode. So let's remember that conscience gives us access to the 6 virtues of the divine soul, our inner life tree fruits. Remember that conscience is the union of wisdom and understanding. We'll understand deeper what that is today. And basically the 6 virtues in the middle of the tree are mercy, which makes us feel the abundance to share with others. Then right judgment, that makes us manage vital force more intelligently. Then we have harmonia, the sense of proportion, which is basically the firth, beauty. And this helps us see our true light in contrast with the shadow in us, our false personality, helping us understanding our own suffering and the suffering of others, all of which generates compassion in us. Then we have netzach, success, which is the result of being elevated by the energy that comes from having that sense of mercy, beauty, right judgment. And in the sphere of Or, splendor, we have discipline and consciousness, which help us see and show ourselves as we are to the world. And finally, in the sphere of Yesod, the foundation, we have the transformation of energy that makes us very creative. Now, those 6 virtues are complemented by 3 very important virtues known as faith, hope, and love. Paul spoke about those 3 because they are central. And altogether, the 9 virtues are contained in a single state of conscience, and this was expressed in several passages. For instance, in Job 28:28, we read that the awe or reverential amazement of being is wisdom, and stepping aside from evil is understanding. Chokmah and Binah, wisdom and understanding. Now, to go deep into this, realize that living the fullness of who we are with confidence, with faith, implies perceiving the subtle nuances of everyday living, feeling the sublime in every moment, the love that flows in the luminous, serene life, the sense of oneness, beauty, gratitude, humility, the sense of something that never dies, immortality. And we can perceive those qualities in simple gestures, like a gesture of kindness, or a child filled with enthusiasm, the gratitude towards parents that are already gone, but left a whole lifetime of learning and good moments, all for us. And feeling all that makes us see that we are destined for each one of those moments, being and doing what we have to do. And all this makes us a step aside from all destructive behaviors, because we are. And notice how all this is related to what, on a lower level of consciousness, is usually translated as the fear of the Lord. In Hebrew, it's Yirat, Yhwh. Some say it is the fear of offending God. We might say fear of harming the divine that dwells within and within others, or even fear of turning away from love. But let's remember that there is no fear in love. This was said by Apostle Simon. So we are rather looking for a sense of awe, reverential humility, I'd say, and always before that which is sublime, an immensity that leaves us speechless. And this awareness is what makes us turn away from destruction and help us be what we have to be. And this is the essential quality of the so-called tetragrammaton, the four-letter name Yhwh, which, as we have seen, represent several aspects. For instance, the steps of manifestation. We have an intention in the heart, which becomes organized in the mind. Then it is formed with the emotions, and these emotions bring it forth into manifestation. We can say that the divine verb, the divine word, makes real everything it touches. Just from a single intention, the initial seed of the tree. And this is precisely the reason why it was said, "You shall not take the name of Yhwh Elohim in vain," Exodus 20. And obviously many wonder, what name? The name of whom? Why shouldn't we take that in vain? But let's notice that in Hebrew, name, Shem, is not a label that we put on someone or something, but Shem is rather a vibration, a state of being, the essence of something. And in this case, Yhwh basically means being fully, because it comes from Hawa, which is to exist, to be, and permutated is usually known as Havaya, existence. And it also contains it was, Haya, it is, Yhwh, and it will be, Yhwh, the three forms of the verb to be. So this means that the divine essence is always. And that is precisely the meaning of Amor, which is love in Spanish, but it comes from all the Romance languages, and it has as essence a mort, absence of death. And if there is no death, there is only life. And life reveals itself, having thus the quality of light, of showing up, which is consciousness and integrated conscience. And this brings a state of stability, which is serenity, shalom. And all this is timeless, outside the movements of space-time, without a shadow of variation, said Apostle Jacob, in reference to the Father of Lights. Therefore, the vibration of Yhwh, the divine verb, is I am always immortal and self-subsistent, the source of all loving, living, bright, and serene beings. And that is why it's called the Father of Lights. Those are basically the qualities of pure being. And this was known in antiquity. Even Paul, when he addressed the Greeks, said that the followers of the universal Messiah worshipped the unknown God, to whom the Greeks dedicated an altar without a name, because there is not a name as such as we understand it for being. And being was precisely the God to which the ancient Hellenistic sages refer to in their different traditions, especially the famous Parmenides, because in the 6th century BC he wrote a poem where he said that being one and complete is the absolutely real, while all we perceive with the five senses is unreal, is an illusion, because it fades away. Then others came to say that there is a gradation of reality as Plato. There are things that are more real than others. And it's precisely in this context of beingness where Paul says, in him we live, move, and are. We are his lineage. Acts 17:28. Now the vibration of being, with the qualities of loving life in serene light, should not be taken in vain, because when only one of these qualities is missing, when only one of the Elohim, the forces of the divine word, the divine verb, are not perceived, then the shadow of Yhwh, the shadow of existence, shows up. Actually, Yhwh means ruin, calamity. And in Isaiah 45:6-7 we read, I am Yhwh, I am existence, the one who generates the light and forms darkness. We might say electromagnetic light, not the primordial, sublime light. Therefore, the concealment of the qualities of being leads to the shadow of existence. For example, if there is love in us, but life and serene light are not felt, then we are filled with a sort of insatiable desire, the energy of the serpent, and this destroys us completely, because we don't perceive the fullness of being, we don't recognize our completeness, and we crave for something. If you bring forth what is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. This was one of the sayings attributed to the Master in the Gospel of Thomas. Now, life disconnected from love and serene light becomes dark, painful, resentful, and agitated. This is the state of the maiden made prisoner in the ivory tower. As for the light, without love and serene life, it is just a mere play of lights and shadows, a simulation full of chaos and agitation, false wisdom, knowledge based on external data which do not bring understanding. In addition to all this, notice how nothing exists apart from the act of being. Even the unreal seems real when we say it is this or that. For instance, feel I am darkness and you become darkness. Feel I am weak and you become weak, unable to manifest that vital force that brings us out of all the lies. If someone says to us, you are an idiot, and we believe it, then we are making it real, for we feel as idiots, and this makes us depressed. So we have to be very careful with how we use our beliefs and the attribution of being with everything we see, hear, touch. Now, by contrast, when we feel I am in the I amness, then we no longer feel separate. We taste our divine state of being, even if it's just a glimpse. But this can only happen in a state devoid of pride. Only by understanding that we are not on our own, we can realize that we are because the great divine I am is in us. Before Abraham was, Ena, I am, said the Master. That's in John 8:58. And there is something I find very interesting, which is, in Spanish, the expressions I am, beings, and we say yo soy, seres, somos, are palindromes. They read the same back and forth. Check that. And this is because being is univocal. It's like the universe. Universe, a single verse, back and forth. But when we feel I am in pride, then being is no longer univocal, because we see ourselves as something separate, perceiving from a state of lacking, and then we start demanding. I am sick, give me health. I am superior, or I am inferior, give me attention. Give me your attention. I am a sinner, give me forgiveness. I am a victim, give me love. It's a constant state of restlessness, of demanding, without realizing that we have everything right here and now. But something is keeping us from perceiving it. And this attitude turns us into objects, not beings. Curiously, in Latin, res means thing, and res is the reverse of ser, which means being in Spanish. Actually, society treats people as things, as cattle, sheep, sheeple. This is the unloving world in which we live. And all this comes from the Babylonian system that was passed into Greece and Rome. And notice how the opposite of Roma is Amor, love. Is that a coincidence? So let us feel the yo soy, seres somos, being univocal, back and forth. The self is one and homogeneous, said Parmenides in his beautiful poem, and he was not understood by anyone. And this is a truth also present in the most famous Hebrew prayer. Listen, Israel. Israel are the souls that overcome darkness. The full being, Yhwh Elohim, is a being oneness, Yhwh Echad. Precisely in Hebrew, Ahava, which means love, has the same numeric geometric value as Echad, unicity, and this is 13, which is also the numeric value of Einai in Greek. Remember that 13 is the sphere of totality, the seed that contains the 12 fruits of the tree of life, the space that embraces the 12 edges of a cube, and so on and so on. So by filling the loving space of living life without rejecting anything, not even pain, we can start noticing that it is not possible to escape from reality, from divine reality, which encompasses and connects everything in oneness, Echad, making life flow towards unity, Yahid. And thus, little by little, the distortions, the pains, the sufferings fade away. But we have to be patient. And this fills us with true confidence in the flow. So we'll have to see how this relates to true faith and true conscious hope, as opposed to false faith and false hope. But let's leave that for the moment. Thank you very much for listening with attention. And if this video was inspiring to you, leave comments if you wish. Give thumbs up, please, to promote the channel and help others access it. The comments and thumbs up usually promote channels. And if you want to receive notifications about the weekly publications, subscribe by clicking on the bell button. And until the next day, blessings of unconditional love and modified life, pure conscience and blissful serenity, the qualities of the sublime immensity in which we are.